I takt med at etterspørselen dreier fra fossilt til fornybart, må også petroleumsgiganten Statoil se etter forretningsmuligheter i det nye energimarkedet. Kan kompetansen fra olje og gass brukes til å få fart på et nytt norsk industrieventyr innen offshore vindkraft? Det skal direktør for havvind og CCS i Statoil, Stephen Bull, fortelle mer om. Gi ham en varm applaus.
Morning, everybody. Thanks to James and Maria for definitely making my job easier, but also to present a little bit about context and Statoil on our own energy transition for ourselves. Everybody in Norway has an opinion about Statoil because we are the nation's energy company. We've been turning natural resources into energy for 45 years now. And believe it or not, we actually provide energy to 170 million people all over the world every day. We've been thinking about energy transition in the company for a long time, and in particular, this is something that never stops. 3 examples here that we have from Troll, Snøhvit, and Hywind give an example of energy transition in the company. Now you can see with Troll itself, which is a fantastic picture. It actually won the Cement Prize in that particular year, and you probably would never build that again today, to put it on be honest. But it is the largest and the heaviest object ever to be moved by humankind. It also provides 40% of gas in Norway today. Snøhvit provides LNG across the world, and also this is done basically 300 meters below the sea surface, and it's trawler-proof as well, so you continue to fish in the area. And this is our beloved Hywind as well, which is come into production. We had an opening this month, and it's the world's first floating wind farm. So these 3 examples give some idea of where energy transition has been going in Statoil, but also where we're going in the future as well. We've had to sharpen our strategy in the company. We are definitely under pressure in the industry, as we've heard from many of the speakers today, not just on the carbon side of issues, political issues, but also the acceptability of our business model. And there's no doubt that the future is actually low carbon, and we're on that transition towards that. So with our strategy that we have, always safe, high value, low carbon, this is a way of thinking around how we can actually manage a transition within a framework we think is justifiable for our shareholders and stakeholders. We've had a climate roadmap which has been produced this year, and this is an extremely important part of our business. This isn't just greenwashing or sustainability discussions, but actually sets a framework for the company, for all of the company, from the international side to the guys in Norway as well, producing on the Norwegian continental shelf. 3 clear goals that we've developed here within the climate strategy. First is to reduce CO2 from our own operations by 3 million tons a year by 2030. We're also committing about 15 to 20% of our capital expenditure towards new energy solutions. It's great news for me, that's where I work. And also we're consistently stress testing our portfolio on actually carbon as well in the future. Will it stand up there? Can we manage carbon risk in the future in our portfolio? Extremely important parts for us, and they outline the rest of our strategy in the company. So back to where I work in new energy solutions. We established this unit about 2 years ago, and that was a clear response about how to manage transition within the company, and also related to our climate goals. But also, we're quite good at this stuff. So the offshore wind part of the business is really something that Statoil has been doing actually for a long time. The first drawings for Hywind were developed in 2001. We've been developing UK wind operations. We have stuff in Germany going on as well, New York, and many other plans in the future as well. And this is because we feel that the sea is in our blood. We do mega operations offshore in harsh climates. That speaks to offshore wind as well. We're trying a little bit in solar. I'll come back to that later. And also energy storage is a key part for us as well, because that actually enhances our value proposition within offshore wind in particular. So we're going to build a profitable renewables business. Profitable is a key part of it here. I have to compete against the guys with oil and gas. Second part of our journey is also to do with carbon capture and storage and developing new solutions, particularly within natural gas. Now, the decarbonisation of natural gas is something that is essential. We have to be on that journey, and there are potential ways of doing this. You can use natural gas to produce hydrogen, and if you take the CO2 and you put that down into a reservoir, and you can keep that as CCS, you have a clean solution. We're working towards those today. I'll give you a flavor of the portfolio in the company. So on the offshore wind side of it, we produce power for nearly 1 million homes in Europe today. 3 operated projects in the UK, and we have 1 in Germany ongoing at the moment in the Baltic Sea. Solar in Brazil, well, as I mentioned, we're dipping our toe into PV solar, if actually that is possible, as a metaphor. And we're doing that together with Scatec Solar as well. Great company and also great exposure to us in Brazil is one of our most important oil and gas markets. Storage as well. So we have Batwind, which the team are really proud about because it's battery plus wind. And they often dress up in bat clothes in the office just to get in the mood of it. We're developing a storage solution there for home in Scotland. So this will be the world's first again because it will be storage linked to offshore floating wind. In addition, we have a ventures unit, which is run by a team both in Norway and in the UK. We're looking into investments into renewables companies. So what we're looking for here, we have $200 million in that unit. That is really to try and make money. We're supposed to make profit in this unit, but also we're getting an incredible amount of learning out of it. Some of the companies you can see here we've invested in decentralized onshore wind. We have storage, we have EV charging points as well, and we have a PV unit as well in Germany. Really exciting businesses. We sit on the boards of these, we learn about it, we try and join the dots, and also we need to understand their business models, because not only does it disrupt us, but also we can find opportunity through this for ourselves in our core business. So we had for those who read Aftenposten, you might have seen that we had over several pages an article from our CEO, Eldar Sæther. And what was interesting about this one is not only does it actually explains clearly what the strategy of Statoil, so I urge you to read that if you're interested, but also about where we're going to put our money where our mouth is. Now, the key headline from Eldar was in particular that we've moved from a focused oil and gas company to a broad energy major. It's an important point for us here. This is something that we're broadening our portfolio, something that Maria has mentioned as well in her presentation. But also, it's not just about putting something out there, a strategic vision, and working off a PowerPoint. He also mentioned in the article as well is that we're going to put 100 billion NOK into this business over the next few years. And we've already invested 20 billion Norwegian kroner in our part of the business within offshore wind and within solar, just within the last 2 years already. Now this here, just to give you a flavor of 100 billion NOK, what does that get you these days? I assure you it's not burning in our pockets, but you could actually buy Yara for 100 billion NOK. Not that I'm saying we're going to buy Yara, okay? It's a great company. Those days are over for those who worked in Hydro. That's actually not a small amount of money. 100 billion is the market capitalization of an extremely successful company. So what do you get for 100 billion these days? Well, actually, these are just 3 projects up our sleeve at the moment. One is the CO2 value chain project for the Norwegian audience here. We hope you've been following this. I think this is the world's most interesting CCS project. It's decentralized CO2 capture through 3 industrial plants. Marius mentioned it in his speech this morning, and it offers a low threshold way of actually getting more CCS in the world. This is a way where we can actually get the deployment and reducing the cost, just like we've done in solar, just like we've done in offshore and onshore wind. In New York, we have a new project called Empire Wind, which can produce about 1 gigawatt of offshore wind off the coast of Long Island. And this is something which we think is really exciting, and we're accelerating the development of that. We could actually start putting in a bid for a long-term price contract, maybe by the end of next year. And on the right-hand side, this is the crown jewel of the UK at the moment. This is the world's largest consented offshore wind site. It's called Dogger Bank. It's in the middle of the North Sea, and it could potentially provide a hub for new electricity throughout the whole of Europe. So the ocean itself, it's kind of a big blue canvas, I think, the way we see it. The best winds travel across it. And in addition, if you can start dreaming of things about the ocean itself, I admittedly and sadly start dreaming about offshore wind and the vision we have to produce actually clean local electrons across the whole of the world. But that's not just a dream, it's real and it's actual. And Goldman Sachs recently put a report out which expected to be a 9-fold growth within offshore wind between now and 2030. Not just the growth of it, the actual market opportunity is 600 billion euros. Now, who wouldn't want to be part of that? And who better than Statoil to make it work? Thank you for your time.